Dave Cottle is the head coach of the Chesapeake Bay Hawks, the defending Major League Lacrosse champions. They open the season against Rochester and Tampa on Saturday. Their home opener is a week from Saturday on May 4th. Coach, these questions are actually going to seem like questions from someone who isn't intimately familiar with professional lacrosse because, in fact, that's exactly what these questions are and who they're coming from. So bear with me for a bit. But one of the things I was curious about is how many of the top college players actually move on to a professional lacrosse career versus going into something in the private sector?
I would say every college draft has about 64 players drafted. And so you would probably take the top 64 every year. So there's 6 and 7 year players out there. We have one, Kyle Dixon, is starting his 8th year. So I would say basically you say the top 100 players in the country right now go on to play in the pros. They
do. So now do they – I have no idea about what kind of money they can make, but can they make enough money to not have to work a job simultaneously, or do they work during the rest of the year?
Well, they most of them work during the rest of the year. Some wind up playing in multiple leagues, playing in the indoor and the outdoor, and then they can get involved in camps and tutoring lessons so they can make a living in lacrosse, but they just couldn't make a living only in the outdoor league.
Do you you coached at Maryland for many years, and college lacrosse, especially in this area in particular, is becoming more high profile. I mean, high school lacrosse is a big deal. Saturday, Landon and Georgetown Prep played it's a great rivalry. There were over 2,000 people at that game on Saturday in Bethesda. Do you miss the high profile or the higher profile nature of college lacrosse, especially with what it's becoming now?
Well, there's certain things you miss. I miss more the people in the locker room, but I have that opportunity to do that in the pros. I'll say this. Last year, there were 8 first-round games played at the NCAA, and we had our opening games we had 3 of the opening games of the season, so 6 of the 8 teams played. There were 9,000 people at the college first-round playoff games. There were 27,000 people at the 3 pro games.
Oh, that's great.
So we're probably averaging close to 10,000 a game. So our attendance is growing in this league, and the support is surely growing.
That's terrific. I didn't realize that. We're talking to Dave Cottle, the head coach of the Chesapeake Bay Hawks. They open the season Saturday in Tampa against Rochester. Overall, it sounds to me, just based on that the state of the league, the health of the league, is pretty good. Yes.
It's a group of sports owners that have owned Penske Racing and everything just bought the New York Lizards, so they're highly involved in developing franchises and sports businesses. Boston, Denver, Chesapeake, we're all doing very well, and I think the league is looking to expand 2 more cities, and I think Atlanta will probably be one of them, and then their second city's up in the air.
I know you had a scrimmage on Saturday night against the team that you beat in the championship game last year, Denver. How'd that go?
We won 10-9. It was probably played like it was the first scrimmage for both teams. I don't think either team played exceptionally well, and I know both Denver and Chesapeake had a lot of guys that were either rested or didn't play in it because of injuries. So we had about 1,000 people that came to watch the scrimmage, and it was a good night. They saw some good lacrosse, and they ran up and down the field, and we probably have a little better idea who's going to be on their team next year. 25-man
roster you've got to cut down to by what, tomorrow or today?
By today, we got to cut it down to, but we are giving the inactives of the college guys, so the 4 guys we drafted in college don't count to the roster, and the 7 guys or 8 guys that play in the indoor don't count. So when they come back, that's when it's going to make the decisions even tougher.
Talk about the opener, because the next time I talk to you, it'll be after the opener. Tell us a little bit about Rochester and the challenges you have in the opener.
We split with Rochester last year. We lost at home and won on the road later in the year. They have the Lavelle brothers, Kevin and Mike Lavelle. One played at Syracuse, one played at UMass. And Mark Millen, who was a legendary player, who's come back from retirement and lives in Baltimore, and he's actually going to come back and play, so he'll start on the attack for them. So those three guys present our defense a very stiff challenge of being ready to stop them. They have Matt Strebel, who's one of the best minis ever to play in the MLL, playing also at midfield, so he'll present another defensive challenge for us. And they have some good young defensemen that I think are good players in the league, are little known, and will cause some problems for us on the offensive end. So it's going to be a good challenge, playing in a foreign place in a baseball stadium, Joe Lang Stadium in Tampa, and we're just looking forward to trying to play well the first game.
Best of luck, Coach, in the game Saturday night. And again, the home opener is a week from Saturday on May 4th. You open up at home, and this is a 14-game regular season, right?
That is correct, Kevin. Yes.
And then, just out of curiosity, is it the top two teams just play each other in the championship game, or are there more playoff teams?
It's a semifinal format.
So if the top four teams make it.
Yep.
Best of luck in the opener. Enjoy Tampa, and we'll chat next week.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Coach.